Last month, I made a video called Pokemon Fire Red, but my team is always poison. And one comment I got said, Pokemon Fire Red, but my team is always asleep. And I thought about it and said, I think it's doable. But Frozen has to be impossible for sure. So Blue Crimson, today I'm playing Pokemon, but my team is permanently frozen. And we're gonna use Leaf Green, and you'll see why later on. I start the game, let chat pick my gender, name myself Chris, and chat names the rival
BUNCLE.
I grab a potion from my PC and run outdoors. I get harassed by an old man for literally no reason and tell chat we don't want Charmander. So they pick Squirtle and we name it Birtle. We battle BUNCLE and we're frozen solid so we can never attack, ever. That's the challenge of the run. No attacks and no status moves. We simply lose, which is fine because we progress anyways. But let's talk about the first dub that is required in the game. Our first real battle is gonna be against Catcher Sammy. Sammy has a level 9 Weedle that knows Poison Sting, a 100% accurate move with 35 PP. For now, the only way we can do damage during the challenge is to get our opponent to run out of PP and use Struggle, a move that causes recoil damage equal to 1/4 of the damage it deals. We're gonna have to survive 35 Poison Stings before surviving probably 30 more struggles during the battle. I could spend all my cash entirely on potions and brute force Birtle through the fight, but then I'd be broke and set up for failure for the rest of the run. So we needed to catch more Pokemon. I bought some Pokeballs and caught 3 Metapods for the highest defense and HP stats available to us right now. I also caught 2 Mankeys in fear of Rock Tomb, which is coming up later. The next thing I needed to do was level up, since my entire team was fragile. And the only option I had for leveling up was fighting wild Metapods and Kakunas in Viridian Forest, because they only knew Harden, a non-damage dealing move. Harden has 30 PP, meaning I'd have to wait 30 turns before one of them would struggle, and then wait about 30 more turns, while half my team would get knocked out to give 40 or 50 experience to just one Pokemon. Then I'd have to go heal, because I needed most of my team in order to take out one Metapod or Kakuna. This was god fucking awful. So a mere 5 hours of grinding later, I had a level 20 Wartortle and a level 10 Mankey. Also, the game froze during this, just like our team. We have to keep our heads up. Alright. Why can't I open my ROM? No. Ironic, but really annoying. I took on Catcher Sammy, our first real battle, and it managed to knock out my full team besides Birtle. And by using one potion, we scraped by the stupid Weedle. That was scary. Okay, no lie, no fib, no cap. That was scary, but I still felt confident. Maybe it was from all the drinking on stream, something that helped ease the grinding pain, but I wanted to try Brock. So with Birtle by my side and 6 potions in my bag, I took on the first gym leader, and we lose badly. Fellas! That went well! Birtle can take care of Geodude if we use all 6 of our potions, and then Onix sweeps the team. Here's what I learned though. Onix has 3 attacking moves: Tackle, Rock Tomb, and Bind. Tackle isn't scary, since Onix has booty-ass attack, and Mankey resists Rock Tomb, so we can figure out a way to get by that. Bind, however, not only prevents switching, but also deals 1/16 to our HP every turn. That's terrible. I spent 9 more hours of grinding off stream to get Blastoise at level 36 and all of my other Pokemon around level 20. We also finally beat some trainers, and we get a little more cash for potions. Round 2 against Brock. Birtle is doing much better this time around, and after a few potions, Geodude goes down with most of our HP remaining. Onix comes out, and after swapping between Mankey and Raticate for a while, we stall out all of Onix's Rock Tombs. Then I use Metapods to hopefully use up all of its binds, which actually works. Onix manages to take down everything, but uses up all of its PP, leaving Birtle with nearly full health to take on Struggle. Onix goes down, with 4 potions still left in our bag. 126 hours of in-game time, and around 17 hours of grinding just for the first badge. Also, we got Rock Tomb, which is a super helpful TM for this run. Not because I'm going to use it. No, that would be a waste of time. We can never attack, but we can sell it, giving us cash for some potions. I'm feeling fucking fantastic now. Cash, potions, Pokeballs, women, progress. We finally move on to Route 3, a route where I immediately got stuck again. The first fucking trainer battle is another goddamn bug catcher who has 2 Caterpies and a Weedle, F-tier Pokemon. But if we add up all their attack PP, we have to survive 100 attacks, not including struggle. After 2 hours of trying, we finally get by this pain in the ass and a couple more trainers to make it to the Route 4 Pokemon Center. But more importantly, we finally have a little bit of strategy we can use. I caught 2 Geodudes, a Perez, and most importantly, 2 female Nidorans. Geodudes are great because they resist most early game attacks and have high defense. But Nidoran, while it has pretty nice HP and defense, has something more important: Poison Point. Any Pokemon that hits Nidoran with a contact attack has a 30% chance of getting poisoned as long as a poison affects it. I don't have to get everything to struggle every time anymore. We can simply swap in Nidoran and poison stall it to death, which makes things 100 times easier than before. Also, Perez is here because it has Effect Spore, which is kind of the same idea, but like way lower odds, just in case. I grind for a while off stream again and get all the new Pokemon up to speed before going into Mount Moon. I pick up every item I can to sell, and we get to the trainer guarding the fossils, who has 2 poison-type Pokemon. It's a little scary, but fortunately my Gravelers took care of the Grimer and Coffin. We made it out okay and get to Cerulean City. Also, I figured out how to use a timer. Yeah, great. We take on Misty. Staryu and Starmie both have Water Pulse, a really scary move, being special, non-contact, and water type. Something that destroys my new strategy altogether. So I switch between Birtle and Tyro, our Nidoqueen, to get her to waste the attack. Once she's out of Water Pulses, I use Graveler to take any Swifts, which are non-contact attacks, until she only has Rapid Spin or Struggle. Then Nidoqueen can come in safely to activate Poison Point. This works for both Pokemon, and we beat Misty first try. 2 badges, 177 hours of playtime in. Next is the rival battle. I open with Tyro to try to get Poison Point to activate, then I switch to I'm Big. Pidgeotto goes down to Poison. Then Bulbasaur comes out, so I switch to Parasect, who stalls all of Bulbasaur's Vine Whips and Leech Seeds. Bulbasaur goes down to Struggle, Abra goes down to Struggle, and Rattata goes down to Poison. Not too bad. Nugget Bridge wasn't too awful either, but I learned Ekans is the most frightening Pokemon in the run right now, being Poison type and having access to Wrap. Hell. At the end of Nugget Bridge, there's a glitch to get infinite nuggets in the game by losing to the Team Rocket member and farming a nugget each time you talk to him. I figured I'd do this as a joke, and chat wanted to get 69 nuggets, so we did. But it turns out this actually ended up not being a joke. My other option would have been to spend hours and hours and hours hoping a Meowth would get nuggets using pickup. I picked up 2 Bellsprouts and an Abra on Route 24. And after Bill, we finally have access to one of the most important tools in this run, the daycare. I leveled Tyro up to 49 off stream by running back and forth. I took on the rival on the SSN and realized that Kadabra had Confusion, a non-contact attack, and I didn't stand a chance, but I had a backup plan. I threw Abra in the daycare and leveled it to 33. Then I grabbed a Spearow and used it to get through Diglett's cave since Arena Trap doesn't affect flying types. I traded Abra for Mr. Mime. Sorry, sir. Oh no. Let's go! Don't have Arena Trap! And used its special defense to handle all of Kadabra's confusions, getting me past the rival. Then came Lieutenant Surge, and the stream went a little off the rails that day. Don't ask why I'm blue. But basically, everything went down to Poison Point since no electric attacks affected Nidoqueen. Simple. 3 badges, baby. After that, I got stuck again in Rock Tunnel. Imagine you were this guy in real life. You're in a cave. It is impossible to see. It is pitch black. You see a girl walk by. Barely, just barely in the pitch darkness. And you run up to her as fast as you can and go, do you know about Pokémon Cosplay? And you look like that. I wanna fuck DK. Hey, I want a fucking cake. Geodudes only know Rock Throw and Magnitude at the level they started appearing on teams. 2 attacks none of my Pokemon could counter at that point, so I kept whiting out to Hikers. The solution? Spearow. It sounds weird, but Magnitude doesn't affect Spearow, so every time one faced a Spearow, it would try to use Rock Throw, and I would switch to Graveler. And I'd switch back to Spearow, anticipating a Magnitude. Now, there were hiccups, since the AI was a little random, but it worked, and I barely got out of there and headed straight for Celadon City to take on the Rocket Hideout. This definitely wasn't easy either, you know, mostly due to the number of poison types there. But I made it through, and Giovanni wasn't that bad. After that, I hit the store to pick up X Defense and Guard specs, which we don't need too bad now, but we'll definitely need it later. I evolved Bellsprout through the daycare and picked up a Hypno too to replace Mr. Mime. The rival battle in Pokemon Tower wasn't awful. Victory Bell had low defense, but its typing walled Ivysaur. Hypno took care of Kadabra, and Nidoqueen did the rest. I picked up a Ghastly and beat the Marowak, which I thought would be the worst part. The worst part, in fact, was Zubats that the Rockets had. Zubat knows Wing Attack, Astonish, and Bite, each having a ton of PP, physical or special options, and it would randomly pick a move, making it hard to stall by swapping. Not to mention it was Poison type. I leveled up Graveler to 50 in the daycare, and ended up using all my freshwaters, but moved on. I picked up the item finder and caught 2 Snorlaxes. Smash or pass Machamp? I'm not gonna smash a Pokemon. You can't convince me. That was easy. I was also surprised to see a lot of people didn't know this, but using the item finder, I also uncovered the 2 secret leftovers beneath Snorlax, and I need both. Koga was next, so I grinded off stream to get Snorlax to level fucking 70 and others around level 50. Oh, we have a Haunter and a Flareon now. I went down Cycling Road and took on Koga's gym. Trainers in the gym were awful because they were mostly psychic users, but Koga was easy. Graveler could take anything from all of his Pokemon and the Coughings all just fucking blew up. I picked up Surf and Strength and headed to Cinnabar Island, where I also picked up Aerodactyl. Leader Blaine is bald, really wasn't that bad either, and with a few potions, he was taken down by Flareon and Nidoqueen. 5 badges. When I left the gym, Bill pulled up and invited me to a remote island owned by his rich friend. Very sus. But I agreed just for one reason, and the main reason we picked Leaf Green instead of Fire Red. Magmar. Magmar is the only Pokemon we would have access to before the post-game that has Flame Body. This ability works just like Nidoqueen's, except it causes a burn instead of poison, widening our strategy more. So I took a boat over to one island and immediately headed up to Mount Ember, where I found out I can't access anything until I beat Erica because of strength. My dumb idiot brain was wrong. So I spent an hour forcing poison-type Pokemon to struggle doing the stupid quest, and I went back to Kanto to take on Erica. I'd been afraid of Erica for her lack of contact attacks, but it turns out nothing could take out Nidoqueen while it was holding leftovers. 6 badges. I took a boat back to one island and finally caught Magmar, who we decided to name Boobers. Hey, did you know Magmar's name in Japanese is Boober? I grinded some more, and I went to Silphco. Rival battle wasn't so bad, but Gyarados' Dragon Rage was awful. Giovanni was also easy. We pick up a Master Ball and head to Sabrina. Okay, fellas, this is gonna be probably the most difficult battle so far, who I've been worried about since before the run even started. Sabrina has no contact attacks, and I can't do anything to stop Kadabra and Alakazam from setting up on me with Calm Mind. I ended up using Aerodactyl's Pressure. Yeah, so there's no way we can stop it with Pressure. She's gonna have to use all of it. Let's put in Boobers. It's gonna struggle and burn. Okay, good. And then we can put in Moderator, because she might send out Venomoth after. Let's see how our Mr. Mime does. Okay. Fuck this. It's gonna one-shot everything. We're basically just gonna use all our fresh waters. and Snorlax was able to take it on using a few freshwaters. A tricky win and 7 badges, but now I know I need to be really careful of any Pokemon that can set up. I go to Viridian City and take on Giovanni. As usual, Giovanni's team is kinda booty, so I switch between Aerodactyl and Nidoqueen to either get rid of Earthquake or get Poison Point to activate. Nidoking and Nidoqueen couldn't do anything to Haunter either, so I used it to stall them. Overall, probably one of the easiest gym leaders, even when my whole team is fucking frozen. 8 badges, 366 hours of game time, 44 hours of real time. I beat my rival again, who more or less played the same as the Silphco battle. I got through Victory Road and made it to Indigo Plateau. But then I had to talk with chat and think about what team we'd use. The thing is, until this point, we built teams around what was effective for each major battle. In the Elite Four, you need a team that can work for all 5 trainers, each with individual strengths and weaknesses. Chat and I took about an hour to think about it, and finally, we decided to pick up Moltres and Slowbro, a legendary Pokemon with pressure, and a water psychic Pokemon with great defense. And our team of star-studded all-stars officially ended up being Nidoqueen, Magmar, Moltres, Slowbro, Hypno, and Snorlax. I grinded again and spent the remainder of my money at the daycare and on revives. We weren't going to use the revives in battle though. I decided I didn't want to use more than 5 lemonades per battle. We took on Lorelei. We're going to go in there and we're going to show Lorelei the most annoying and frustrating battle ever because we're never going to hit her. I opened with Slowbro, who struggled to survive against Dugong more than I anticipated. I swapped over to Snorlax, who stalled out Dugong's PP, letting me heal up both my Pokemon with leftovers. Dugong struggled into Poison Point and went down to it. Cloyster was next, and it only knew Dive, so I handled it the same way. It did set up Spikes, which was really annoying, but it went down to struggle. Slowbro could only attack with Surf and Ice Beam, and Snorlax managed to survive it, heal back up, and have Slowbro struggle to death. Lapras was a lot stronger, so after a few lemonades, same result. And finally, Jinx went down the same way. Bruno is usually a clown, but Machamp scared me. I took out the Onyxes by stalling Earthquake, switching between Moltres and Nidoqueen, and then got them to activate Poison Point, taking him down. Hitmonchan had a bunch of contact attacks, so it went down to Poison too. Hitmonlee, however, had Facade, so I swapped between Snorlax and Slowbro until it began to struggle. Then I felt comfortable enough to let it get poisoned, and it went down. Machamp came next, and it immediately set up with Bulk Up. I had Slowbro take its Cross Chops, and after Slowbro went down, Snorlax came in and used 6 X Defense. As long as it didn't crit, I was fine. Eventually, it struggled to death, and that made 2 trainers down. Agatha was up, and I knew her first Gengar only had Shadow Punch, so I threw in Snorlax. I expected her to switch out, but she actually just stalled her own PP out, and once it struggled, I switched to Magmar to burn it. Easy KO. Golbat came out, who has Air Cutter, a non-contact attack, but also Bite and Poison Fang. I figured it would use Bite if I swapped in Slowbro, so then I swapped to Magmar, which burned it on the first attempt. Arbok came in after, with Bite, Iron Tail, and Sludge Bomb. I swapped in Nidoqueen to prevent it from using Sludge Bomb, and then swapped to Magmar to get a contact move off. Eventually it burned and also went down. The second Gengar came in, and I swapped between Nidoqueen and Snorlax to stall Shadow Ball and Sludge Bomb. Then I got it to struggle into Magmar and burn, and it went down. Last, Haunter came in, which could only use Curse. I got it to use it twice and it just killed itself. Easy. 2 trainers left. Lance took a couple tries. He opened with a Gyarados that knew Dragon Rage, a move that guarantees 40 damage. I thought I could get it to use Bite if I started with Hypno, and it actually just used the dumb Dragon attack and KO'd Hypno with Hyper Beam. So I threw Nidoqueen in and used a couple of Lemonades until it ran out and got Poison Pointed. It ended up going down, and Aerodactyl came out next. I had it Wing Attack Nidoqueen, and Poison Point also took it down. Dragonite was next, didn't expect that. Eventually I put in Moltres to try to waste its PP, and finally I swapped into Nidoqueen on a Wing Attack, and it got poisoned, and finally went down. Next was Dragonair, which I had to let Snorlax take because of Shed Skin, its ability, meaning it could just heal off poison. Weirdly, it KO'd itself entirely to Confusion, which never happened in the run before. Last was another Dragonair, which knew Dragon Rage again. I used 5 members of my team, leaving Snorlax left just to get rid of Dragon Rage. And then it went down entirely to Confusion again, which is really fucking weird. But now, with Lance down, all that was left was the champion. BUNCLE. I knew there were a few things to be afraid of. Alakazam, Rhydon, Gyarados, Venusaur. But this is why we spent an hour planning. I'm gonna beat you, and I'm never gonna attack. I opened with Nidoqueen to counter Pidgeot, knowing it only had contact moves. Once it was poisoned, I would switch to Snorlax, who could handle the attacks a little better, and it went down. Alakazam came in next, letting us use Hypno to take most of the psychic attacks. After Hypno was KO'd, Snorlax came in to take the rest, and healed back up once Alakazam ran out. Then, when Alakazam was about to go down, I used 6x defense in preparation for whatever was next, Rhydon. As long as Rhydon never crits, we're completely safe to use up all of its attacks. And after a very long stall, Rhydon goes down to struggle. Then came Gyarados. My plan was to let Snorlax take all the Dragon Rages, having the highest HP, and as soon as it decided to use Thrash, we would swap to Nidoqueen to hope for the Poison Point to activate. Eventually this happens, and Gyarados goes down with Arcanine taking its place. Slowbro, Snorlax, and Magmar need to take the flamethrowers, while I hoped for a contact attack once I switched from Magmar to Nidoqueen. Eventually it gets poisoned, but takes down everyone on my team except Moltres and Snorlax. And finally, the last Pokemon remains, Venusaur. It only knows Solar Beam, a super powerful attack. A move that, however, is 4 times resisted by Moltres, a Pokemon that also has pressure, lowering its PP upon usage. But immediately, Venusaur uses Sunny Day and sets up 6 growths, something I couldn't prevent. Moltres takes 3 full power Solar Beams and goes down, knocking out 6 PP. Solar Beam is an attack with 5 PP, so sending in Snorlax, I knew this would be... Did pressure not work? Oh wait, yeah, no, Solar Beam actually has 10 PP, whoops. I had no shot. So I reset, and at 4 in the morning, after a very long stream, I went to bed disappointed. I've spent 51 hours on this run so far, meticulously planning all of these battles and grinding over and over. So I got up early, knocked out everything I needed to do for the day, and re-strategized. I considered adding Articuno to the team. I thought about Weezing, Dragonite, leveling up all my Pokemon to level 100, and decided I don't need any of that. I grinded for just a quick 6 more hours, and I decided the team would remain the same. And I went back to the Elite Four, filled with pure anger. And we're gonna use the least amount of lemonades we possibly could. No more baby back bullshit. Lorelei was up again. Slowbro took on everything without ever healing, and her whole team went down to struggle. Embarrassing. Bruno was next. Hitmonlee's Facade had me use a few lemonades to make it through, but I used the same strategy as before, except I let Machamp activate Guts. Machamp still goes down to Poison, and I move on. Agatha goes down exactly the same as before, barely being able to even land a hit on me. No heals. And Lance couldn't get through Snorlax. A concrete wall with leftovers. No heals. And I embarrassed the Elite Four, never using an attack. Here's the thing, fellas. I have full faith we're going to beat Blue. In fact, I think we're going to beat him on the first try. We first tried everyone else tonight. We know the strategy. So, as the gamers we are, we don't lose. And make my way back to the champion battle. But I wasn't afraid. I had a new strategy ready. BUNCLE claimed he was the best in the world, but I was going to make him look like a big, dumb, idiot dumbass with my Pokemon completely frozen solid the entire time. We open the same way, and Pidgeot goes down to poison handling. Alakazam comes out again. I let Hypno take Psychics until its Citrus Berry activates, and then gives Snorlax the rest. Snorlax heals back to full health with leftovers, letting Alakazam take itself out, and Rhydon eventually struggles to death next. Gyarados uses all of its Dragon Rages on Snorlax, and as soon as it thrashes, I switch to Nidoqueen. Just poison. Just poison. I'll take it. I'm healing up. I'll take it. Fuck it. Fuck it. 4 in a row? Fuck it. Perfect play. And eventually, it goes down. Arcanine comes out. I do a lot of switching around, letting Hypno take a fall. But eventually, I get Slowbro in right as Arcanine goes down to poison. This time, it's 5-1. Slowbro has low HP and is sitting on the field right as Venusaur comes in, which seems really bad, but this is all part of the plan. I know BUNCLE can see a KO with Solar Beam. He doesn't need to use a growth to pull it off, so he charges up, and I swap to Moltres to take the hit. I switch back to Slowbro, but he uses one growth, beginning his setup. I start to get nervous and swap to Moltres, and he sets up another growth. Now I'm more nervous. If this strategy doesn't work, I'm probably going to be forced to level up even higher, not only making the run feel cheated, but also losing like another 10 or 20 hours of my life to grinding. I switch back to Slowbro, and he uses Sunny Day. Solar Beam won't need to charge anymore, so I have to switch no matter what. I pull Moltres back out, takes the attack, and it crits. Moltres is in KO range, and he still has at least 6 PP left. I can't switch to Slowbro from here, because Solar Beam will KO it, completely negating my strategy. So I swap to Snorlax instead, and it sets up another growth. That makes +3. I heal Moltres up with a Lemonade, and he gets to +4. Then I anticipate a Solar Beam and switch out Moltres, but he gets to +5. This could be the end. I can't do anything but sit and wait for the attack. It sets up another Sunny Day, and finally, another growth, bringing Venusaur to +6. It hits another Solar Beam, and another Solar Beam. Moltres goes down. Hoping it was out of PP, I send in Slowbro. He goes down. I send in Snorlax. I couldn't believe it. All that grinding, all that preparation, 59 hours into the run, and it wasn't enough. Venusaur was too strong. I lock in my move, unable to use it as usual due to being frozen. And suddenly, Venusaur uses Synthesis. Synthesis when it has full HP? He's out of attacks! Venusaur ran out of attacks, allowing Snorlax to gain back all of its HP. I ride out all of its remaining moves, leaving one last attack I need to survive, Struggle. So I swap to Magmar, bursting the stupid Dino Plant into flames first try. Then I switch back to Snorlax, realizing Venusaur couldn't even do enough with Struggle to damage Snorlax. The battle was over! Venusaur goes down to the burn, and just like that, without ever using a single move. That means attacker status. Tackle, growl, sing, poison powder, any of that. By doing nothing, but simply chilling the fuck out. I had beaten Pokémon Leaf Green. 428 hours of in-game time, 59 hours and 30 minutes of playtime. Pokemon. But my team is permanently frozen. My nightmare was finally over. So, Blue Crimson, is it possible to beat Pokemon when your team is entirely frozen? Yeah, but it fucking sucks. That was terrible. Don't ever try this challenge. That was awful.